And are you familiar with the reports that have been issued by the United Nations and by other groups about expected war crimes have been committed by the Turkish forces in their invasion into northern Syria?
We have seen some preliminary concerns. We haven't seen any detailed reporting. The detailed reporting, of course, and there's volumes of it, is on the Assad regime's actions throughout Syria. But we're very, very concerned about what we and all of us have seen on video footage and some of the reports that we've received from our SDF colleagues, and we're looking into those as I speak.
Well, Defense Secretary Mark Esper said last week that Turkey appears to be committing war crimes. Do you disagree with that?
We would say that Turkish-supported Syrian opposition forces, who were under general Turkish command in at least one instance, did carry out a war crime, and we have reached out to Turkey to demand an explanation.
Congress has already acted on this, making it clear that never again should mean never again. And the only way that's going to mean anything is if regimes that commit war crimes are held accountable and it's not just swept under the rug as part of any other type of resolution of a conflict. Do you agree with that?
I certainly do, whether they're foes of the United States or allies of ours. Everybody has to be held accountable. So do we have your commitment here before this committee today that the information concerning these actions will be made available, and if it rises to the level of war crimes, that the United States will seek an international forum to hold those responsible accountable? Within our constitutional requirements to carry out foreign policy, this will be a very high priority. Exactly
That's
how
not
we'll
exactly
carry it
what
out.
I said. My point is, are you willing to make an assurance to this committee that you personally will make sure that we don't just once again refuse to hold those responsible for atrocities accountable for their actions? It's a simple answer.
We will do everything in our power as an administration to ensure that the world knows if there are war crimes and that actions are taken to see that they don't happen again. Absolutely.
Well, I would appreciate if you would get back to me in compliance with the law passed by Congress as to compliance with the Syrian War Crimes Accountability Act. Senator Rubio and I introduced that legislation. We expect our laws to be carried out. And I do think one of the consequences of the failure to carry out accountability for war crimes are more war crimes that are committed. And if we had a clear indication that those crimes that had already been committed in Syria, that there was now a process going on internationally to hold them accountable, I am very confident that Turkey may have done things differently in northern Syria.
We will do our best to adhere to our legal requirements
now,
and also the spirit of what you said, Senator.
You've indicated that you were not consulted in regards to the decision to withdraw our troops from northern Syria. Do you agree that the consequences of that encouraged or gave an ability for Mr. Erdogan to move forward into northern Syria, and that added to the national security concerns of America, which you've already testified to in regards to facilitating Russia, Iran, and the Assad regime?
No, I do not think that contributed to this very tragic decision by the Turkish government.
So if our troops were still there, if we hadn't removed our troops, you believe that we would have seen the same scenario with Turkey engaging American troops in northern Syria?
They wouldn't have engaged American troops, first of all, because it was understood that neither side would ever engage the other regardless.
So wouldn't it have been different? Where our troops are today, Turkish forces and Russian forces are now there now. If we had our troops there today, you think we'd have had the same consequences?
We had the troops there. The withdrawal did not take place or really start until well after the essentially most withdrawals of American troops did not take place.
So you really believe that Turkey was going to do this current engagement, even if American troops were in the region, making it very likely there would have been a conflict between two NATO allies in northern Syria? That's not believable.
Senator, let me explain this. If U.S. troops had been given the order to stand and fight against a NATO ally, I think you're right. The Turks may have thought twice. They have never been given that order over two administrations. In fact, we had told Turkey the absolute opposite, that we would not oppose them militarily.
You don't think that Turkey was holding back an aggression against northern Syria because of the U.S. presence in that region?
No, I don't think that at all.
Well, I tell you, you've lost me on the credibility of your comments. Every expert I've talked to in the military side have said that Turkey would not have risked an engagement against U.S. troops. That was something that was something that would never have happened.
That is absolutely true, Senator, but the U.S. troops would have to have had the mission of resisting the Turks. They did not have that mission, and a good question to ask any military expert that says that is, did they have that authority, and would they have acted without that authority? I think the answer is no, they wouldn't.
Just to complete this, then you agree with the President's decision?
The decision?
You, as a professional, you are fully in accord with the President's decision to relocate our troops.
I carry out the instructions of the
My
President.
question is, do you fully, you've now said it didn't have any effect, so do you agree with his policy or not?
I agree that presidents have to make that decision, not people in the bureaucracy such as me.
And for the record, you did not answer my question.
Thank you, Senator Cardin. Senator Rubio.
Thank you. And I apologize.